Hi everyone, myself Maryam Batool and I am excited to be back with another video regarding how to prepare manuscript according to the journal guidelines of the journal. And in previous videos we have already discussed about how to select journals, and we also mentioned some names of journals that are from Q2, Q1, Q3 and Q4 categories. If you have not checked the videos, you can check the previous videos of this playlist. So we have also discussed about how to register for a journal for the submission of paper, but in today's video we will discuss that how you can make your paper prepared according to the guidelines suggested by the journal. So here we go. This is the journal of hazardous materials, and it is published by Elsevier, and its rejection rate is also very high, and but it has very good impact factor and site score, as you can see from here, 25.4 site score and 12.2 impact factor. Okay, so it is a hybrid journal. It supports also supports open access publication. And first of all, while you are selecting your journal for the publication of research paper or a review paper, as we have discussed many times earlier, like first of all you need to check the aims and scope of the journal. If your paper falls within the scope of the journal, then you can select that journal for the publication and submission of paper. Okay, so for example, if it is related to adsorption, then you can only select some adsorption related journal. You can't submit that paper into a chemical engineering journal. Okay, so if because while you submit the paper, first of all, journal administrator and editor, they both check either your paper title or your paperwork falls within the scope of the journal or not. If it is out of scope, it is desk rejected without any peer review process. So make sure to check the aims and scope of journal while you are selecting your journal. Once you have decided about the submission of a paper to a journal, then the second thing you need to check is the author guidelines, and for this you have to open the home page of the journal. And for this you will while these guidelines are available on the journal home page, and in some journals they mentioned clearly guideline to authors, while in some you have to search where it falls. So here if we select option publish, and then we can see an option of guide for authors. So once you click on guide for authors, you can see how you can prepare your manuscript according to the guidelines suggested by this journal. Okay, so here we go down our guide for authors. So it first discuss about aims and scope clearly, and then it discuss about article types. Like they clearly mention how which kind of papers they accept. Like they also accept research full length research papers. They will accept review articles and perspective papers, and letter to editor they will also accept, and which are special issues if they announce some special issues for their upcoming volumes. And if they have but for special issues they also mentioned the date of submission deadline date, and it usually takes some time for publication in a special issue. Okay, so after checking the category of papers the journal they publish, then if your category falls within these options, then you can go further, and here you can select ethics in policies. You also need to proofread and check either your is there any need for the ethical approval if your paper is concerned about some medical issues, and for that you need to take some ethical approval from the hospital or some other places where you are conducting your medical study. Then you have to take permission from that institute or medical institute. Okay, so if you have not conducted any human experiment or laboratory scale human experiment, then there is no need of ethical approval. You can mention ethical approval or ethical consent not applicable or not needed. Okay, so after that you need to mention the submission declaration, and then authorship and changes to authorship. Like authorship as well, like while you are submitting your paper, you have to clearly mention the names of authors, and after that you need to mention their affiliation and then email addresses. Okay, in upcoming video we will show you about the complete research paper where it is prepared according to journal guideline. Okay, so you have to mention the email addresses, affiliation and full name of authors on the title page, on the first page of your research paper or a review paper. Okay, and changes to authorship, every journal has its own requirement. Like for example, if you submit your paper for the first time, and if it you receive um, revision from the journal, a major or minor, then if you change the author list at that time, if you remove some authors, if you add some new authors, then it's editor choice, either they will accept the new authorship or not. Some journals generally accept the updated author list, but some journals, if the new added authors are from different countries, or for example, if you added 4 to 5 new authors in the revised form and then submit the paper, then the editor will reject your paper. So make sure while you are submitting your paper for the first time in a journal, make sure that you have updated the author list. And in very rare cases, editor will accept the change in authorship in during the time of revision. Okay, so try to confirm the author list from all the contributing authors of the paper, and once you are satisfied with the author list, their positions, their names, each and everything, then you can submit, go for submission process. Okay, after that it is mentioned about declaration of interest. If you have any kind of competing interest, then you can clearly mention in your paper. If you don't have, then you can simply state not applicable. And in next step, it is asking about funding sources. If your research project receive any kind of funding, then you need to mention the funding source, name of funding source, and the number of funding, funding application. You have to clearly mention that you received this funding from this institute with the grant number this and this. Okay, xyz. So you have to clearly mention. It is also mentioned here like how you can write funding. If you did not receive any kind of funding, you can simply state funding, and after that, after writing this subheading, you can write simply not applicable, or you can also write this research was not funded by any way. Okay, so this is all these kind of information you have to add in your paper, like ethical approval. If there is need to take some kind of approval while conducting some human based experiment, medical experiment, then you need to take the ethical approval. If it is not applicable, you can write not needed or not applicable. And declaration of interest as well, you can write not applicable if you have nothing to declare as a competing interest. And after that, if you did not receive any funding, you can simply write not applicable. Okay, and after that, it is asking about AI in scientific writing. So as you know, there are many AI tools available nowadays, like ChatGPT, Bard AI, and many others. So if you are using any AI tool while writing your research paper, you need to mention that in the acknowledgement section, that you have used this AI tool to improve the language of your paper. Any journal, if you check its policy, they clearly mention you don't have right to write the full paper or a research paper or a review paper using AI. You can use AI tools, but while you are checking your plagiarism using Turnitin or any other software, you also need to check its AI plagiarism. If it is AI plagied, then it will be rejected by the editor and journal administrator. So you need to make the AI percentage or AI plagiarism as 0% before submission process. Make sure you can take help for the, you can develop idea using AI tools. It is very easy to use, and like it gives you response within seconds, rather than searching on Google and Google Scholar, searching for in the literature as well. But make sure that you are not going to copy paste the exact AI wording into your paper. Make your paper as humanized as much as you can. Like try to write in your own words. You can take help from AI, but you cannot copy paste the exact data from AI. Okay, so but if you have taken any kind of help from AI, you can mention this in acknowledgement section that authors have used AI tools. You can mention the name of AI tool as well, like ChatGPT, Bard AI, and or any other software AI tool. So you can mention the name and also write the reason that why authors they use for improving the language of the paper, for making the writing for making it more clear to the audience, like this way. Okay, so and also try to make that AI plagiarism must be 0%. Okay, so after that, if there is any other kind of in language, age, gender, you can also mention. And the main criteria, the main formatting you have to focus is starting from here, that is writing and formatting. So this is the main guideline that every author must follow while submitting paper to a journal. So every journal has different formatting style, different writing or different word limit, different page number limit. So authors must adhere to these guidelines while preparing their manuscript. So it is clearly mentioned about for file formats. Like you can submit a Word document file or a latex file. So a PDF is not acceptable while submitting the paper. So you have to upload a Word file or a latex file. You can't submit or you can't upload a PDF form of your research paper during the submission. Okay, so after that, how you can arrange the title page. So it is mentioned about on the title page, on the first page of your paper file, you have to mention the article title, and it is followed by author names. And author names, you need to provide the first name and after that second or family name of the author, and carefully you need to check the spelling and each and everything. And then you need to provide the affiliation of authors, and you need to mention the corresponding author as well. Okay, yeah, you can use any symbol, steric sign, or some kind of other symbol that will show that it is the corresponding author, or you can simply mention corresponding author and after that you can write the name of the corresponding author. Okay, and this corresponding author will be responsible for communicating with the editor, or the journal will send any kind of decision to the corresponding authors. We have already discussed about who are co-authors and who are corresponding authors. If you have not checked that video, we will provide the video link in the description. You can check from that. After that, you can need to check give them the permanent or present address. It is not necessary, but you can also mention the present or permanent address of corresponding author only, because they are not asking for your home address, they are asking for your work address. So it is the same as the affiliation of the corresponding author. So you just need to rewrite the affiliation of corresponding author again, only for corresponding. It is not necessary to mention the home address. Okay, they have nothing to do with your home address. After that, this is the format of title page. Okay, so after this you need to mention the abstract of the paper. So in abstract, you have to write an abstract of your research paper or a review paper. Some journals have limitations of words. Like here you can see it is clearly mentioned that your abstract must not exceed 250 words. So you have to adhere to these limitation of number of pages and words for the journal where you are submitting your paper. So you also need to check the complete details about the abstract here. After that, you need to provide them the keywords. So keywords are generally the words from which the readers can get the idea that what this paper is about, and you have to provide 1 to 7 keywords according to this journal guidelines. In some other journals, they mention that you need to provide only 5 keywords. Some journals ask for 6 keywords. So this number vary depending upon the type and nature of the journal. So you need to provide 1 to 7, not less than 1 and not more than 7. Okay, so you have to adhere to these numbers. After that, you need to provide the highlights of your research paper. Highlights means you have to write some bullet points that 4 to 5 bullet points, and in those bullet points you have to clearly mention, like it is mentioning like 3 to 5 bullet points. Okay, so you need to provide 3 to 5 bullet points here in your research paper after keywords, and that highlights or bullet points must cover the whole concept of your research paper or a review paper. Okay, so your like it's just like the as we saw the highlights of a cricket match or some other show. Like after checking these highlights, the editor will decide what your paper is about, and what is the novelty of your paper, and how you address the issue in your paper, and what are the main ideas or result or findings of the paper. So make your highlights as clear as you can, because these highlights, abstract and novelty and keywords and the title of paper, these are the main areas where editor will focus. So you have to be very choosy and specific while writing the highlights. Okay, after that you are required to provide graphical abstract for your paper. So graphical abstract we have already discussed about how to make a graphical abstract for a paper. If you have not checked the videos regarding graphical abstract preparation, kindly check the description. We have provided the link in description as well. So graphical abstract, you have to, this is a pictorial representation, in other words pictorial representation of your whole paper. So you have to use some graphics, you have to write some lines, some data in and then you need to save that complete information in an image form, which is known as graphical abstract. So this is also mainly more or less same about highlights, but this also contains some kind of graphics as well. So you can use any graphics, or you can use some wording or key findings or the main methodology as well while preparing your graphical abstract, so that after checking this the readers will get an idea what your topic is about, what you have discussed in your paper, and which areas you have focused. Okay, so you have to provide the graphical abstract, and also they have mentioned about what kind of graphical images they file format they receive, like they will receive TIFF or PDF or MS Office. So these kind of the file formats that are generally accepted while you are submitting your graphical abstract. They don't accept Excel file or PowerPoint file. They accept in image form. You can also upload as you can also paste that image in a separate Word file, and keep the name of the file as a graphical abstract. So you can also submit a Word file as well where you have pasted your graphical abstract. Okay, so they also provided some dimensions regarding the image of graphical abstract, and they also provided the resolution, that is 96 dpi. So you have to adhere to these guidelines while preparing your graphical abstract. So after that they mentioned about tables. So first of all, while you are adding tables or figures to your paper, okay, you need to mention the table number or the figure number in the text where you are talking about those figures and tables, and make sure that you have correctly formatted the tables and figures according to the guidelines. And also you need to mention the table number and figure number in the caption as well. Like for example, if you are discussing about some table in the theory, and after that you have to paste the table on the same page where you are discussing about it. Okay, like if you are discussing in the methodology section table 1, and you are adding table 1 at in the result section, then there is no point of adding table in the result section. You need to add table where you are at the place where you are talking about. If you are discussing about figure 1 in section 2.1, then you need to add the figure 1 in the section 2.1, not in the section 2.2. Okay, so make sure that all the tables and figures are correctly placed and they are correctly numbered. Okay, so you can also check the complete guidelines about tables, figures, and artwork. So here they have clearly mentioned, and they also mentioned that how you can write figure one. You don't need to write fig, you need to write the full name, that is figure one and figure two and so on. So in this way you can prepare your tables and figures according to the guidelines. So after that, you can also provide a link or a file as which is known as supplementary file. So supplementary file basically it is a separate file except main paper file. Here we in this file you can mention, you can add any additional data in the form of figures or tables. Like this is the additional file that readers can download to complete understand the result of your paper. Like for example, if you have added the images in your main paper, and you can add that data, excel sheet data of those figures or those images in a separate file which is known as supplementary file. That tables data is not necessary to be added in the paper, but it will help others to completely understand the relationship what you have discussed in the figure. So you can add any figure, any table, any video, any image, or any writing in the supplementary file that is that will help the readers to understand, but it is not necessary to be added in the paper. So some journals make this supplementary material as optional material, but in some journals it is mandatory to provide supplementary file as well. So it's your choice, and it's the choice of edit journal as well. If but in this journal of hazardous materials, it is not necessary to provide supplementary material, so you can neglect this, you can skip this option. Okay, so if you have prepared your supplementary file as well, you can check the guidelines of writing or preparing supplementary file as mentioned on the journal site. So after that, if you have prepared some kind of video regarding your research work, you can also upload that video in the supplementary file or as a separate file that is named as a video. So it is also optional, not necessary. After that, any kind of research data, if you are submitting your paper and you are declaring that there is also a optional research data associated with this paper, but we can't provide this data, you need to mention this research data availability in the paper as well. In some papers you have checked about research data availability, they have clearly mentioned that all the data for this study have been described in this research paper and its supplementary file. So there is no need to there is no need to provide any additional data in the form of a zip file or any other thing. So if you are comfortable with that you have mentioned everything about the methodology and results section in the paper file and supplementary file, you just need to write after conclusion data availability, and then you need to mention that all the data that is discussed in this paper has been described in main paper file and its supplementary file, and there is no additional data associated with the submission. Okay, so you need to mention this as well while preparing your manuscript. After that is, if there is any other link where your data or research result can be found, you can also provide the link of that data either on the like Facebook, Twitter, or any other link, but it is also optional and it is not necessary, you can skip this option. So after that there is it is asking about research elements and other article structure, and okay, the main thing is that references, these are options are not mandatory, you can skip, and these they have nothing to do with your research paper and all these things. So the main option here is references. Your references must adhere to the journal guidelines. If they ask for the numbered style, you need to arrange or format your references in a numbered style. We have already discussed how to add references to your paper. You can use any software, like you can use Mendeley or EndNote. We have already discussed about how to install EndNote and how you can use EndNote for adding references and updating according to the journal guidelines. If you have not checked the videos, kindly check the description. We have provided the link to those videos in the description. section. So this is here you have to mention or update the references according to journal guidelines. So in the editor, while you are submitting your paper, journal administrator also focus on the reference style. So you have to be very careful while submitting your paper. You need to okay, so here you can see reference to journal publication. They have mentioned that it must be like author first name, second name, and year, then title of the paper, then abbreviated form of the journal, that it is journal name is abbreviated, and then volume, and then page number in the series, and then after DOI. You also need to add DOI of each paper in the reference. Okay, it is the reference style of a journal publication, and it is the reference style of a book, and reference style of journal with an article number, and so on. Okay, so you need to check these references style while you are preparing your paper for the submission process. So once you have checked or completely followed these guidelines, here is the submission checklist. So make sure that you have to proofread it again and again, and you have to check that either all the items are you have prepared well or not. Like you need to provide the author list, you need to provide their affiliation, mail, you need to provide abstract, keywords, and then main paper file, sorry, highlights, graphical abstract, then main paper file, and after that you need to mention acknowledgement, funding, declaration of interest statement, and after that you need to provide references that is updated according to the journal guidelines. And then you need to make a cover letter as well for the submission of paper. We have already discussed about how to make a cover letter for the submission of paper in any kind of journal. If you have not checked the video, we will provide the link in description, you can check from there. Okay, so after completely checking the checklist of your research project, here once you are satisfied and if everything is okay, you have prepared all the things, and plagiarism is also okay, then you can go for submission in the journal. So in coming video we will discuss about how to submit the paper, because this is very important step, and you have to be careful while you are submitting your paper, because every step you need to upload the exact same file, you need to add your exact details, author list, contributing statement, and each and everything, and many other suggested reviews as well. So we will discuss all those steps of submission process in our upcoming videos. So this is all about today's video, and now as we said, we will show you a complete format of a research paper that is formatted according to Journal of Hazardous Materials. So here you can see a paper from this journal. You have to provide the title, and then author list, and followed by affiliation, and then email, and highlights as well in the bullet points, and graphical abstract. After that keywords here, abstract, and here they have mentioned about corresponding address, their email, name, and if you have ORCID, then you can also mention that. And they also mentioned the address like this, but if you don't if you are not willing to provide your home address, you can also mention affiliation of the corresponding author as well. So after that you need to write the introduction, then methodology, and after the first section is introduction, second one is methodology, and the third one is generally result and discussion, and fourth one is generally conclusion. Okay, so the third section here you can see is result and discussion, and tables and figure format. You can also, if you are not sure about the formatting of tables and figures from the guidelines, you can also download the recent paper of the journal where you are going to submit your paper. Okay, so you need to check the table style from here, and its table numbering, that table and its number is bold, and the caption itself is not in bold. So Here is the figures. You can also mention check the figure style and figure caption style as well, like fig dot and followed by the number of figure, and after that it is full stop and then caption, which is not in which is the same size font size as the rest of the theory of paper. So after that the fourth section is conclusion, and if there is any other section like mechanism you want to add, you can add, and afterwards you need to write the conclusion, and it is followed by funding. And if you have not received any kind of funding you can mention it, but if you receive a PhD or MS grant you can mention the name of the funding agent and what kind of grant it is, PhD or master or graduation. So like here they have mentioned declaration of AI, like during the preparation of this work author used chat GPT in order to improve the language and readability, and it is ethical to mention the AI tool as well if you have used for any kind of writing purposes. Okay, so after using this tool, after reviewed and edited, you also need to clarify this that after using you have used AI, but after using this you have also cross check each and every detail of the paper so that it doesn't look like AI generated data. It will this will show that you have humanized the paper as well. And here it is a declaration of competing interest. If you have nothing to declare financially you can mention we have no competing interest, and it is followed by acknowledgement section. You can mention the names of person who have helped you while writing the paper or while writing performing your lab work. And credit authorship contribution statement, you need to mention that out of this full complete author list, these authors have contributed in writing the original draft. This author has contributed in performing the lab experiment. This author has play role in analysis, in Excel sheet, in graph making, and all these things, and methodology, conceptualization, formal analysis. You need to mention the author contribution statement as well. Okay, so if the paper has more than one authors, so if it is only one author in the paper, then you can simply state that not applicable, or the main idea, rough draft, lab experiments all are performed by this author, main author. And environmental implications, it is necessary, it is mandatory in this journal. You have to provide the environmental implication as well. Some journals don't ask for this environmental implication, but a journal of hazardous material, it is required for this journal while you are submitting that you have to provide 1 to 2 paragraph explaining that how your research project, either a research paper or a review paper, how this study will help in improving the environment in terms of sustainability, in terms of environmental pollution, in terms of you can say like protection of environment. So how your study contributed to environmental protection and sustainability, you have to provide this statement as well in 1 to 2 paragraph. After that you need to provide the supporting information, and you need to provide supporting information in a separate word file, but when it is paper is accepted or published, then the production team will create a link for that supplementary file, and everyone can download supplementary file from this link. Okay, after that, data availability, as we have discussed, that data will be made available on request. So for example, if someone asks if someone did some NMR study in their research project, okay, so carbon and proton NMR, and they only mentioned the graph of that study in the paper, and if someone asks about actual NMR and proton result from the author, then corresponding author will be responsible to share the complete final result whatever they obtained from the instrument, in the raw form. They also need to provide them the raw data what they obtained from their analysis. So as they said, data will be made available on request, so it's their choice that they did not provide in paper or supplementary. They keep it for themselves, and if someone asks for detail, then they can provide at that time. But if you have nothing to declare about data availability, then you can simply state that the data used in this study is it is already present or added in the research paper and its supplementary file. Okay, so if you want to keep this for yourself, and you can simply then add data will be made available on request. So it's your choice if you want to declare that it is already added in paper, or you if you want to declare that it will be available on request. After that, you need to mention the references. For example, here you can see they have mentioned the DOI of each reference. Okay, so here in this way you can prepare your paper according to journal guidelines. So this is all about today's video, and hope so it will help you a lot in preparing manuscript according to journal guideline. So every journal has a different guideline. You need to just go to journal home page, and then you can check the complete guidelines for that journal. Okay, so once you have prepared your paper according to the author guidelines, you then need to go to submission process. So that submission process we will discuss in our upcoming video. So stay tuned with Young Researchers. Till then, Allah Hafiz.